All right. Hello friends and welcome back to another vlog on my channel. So for the next couple of days, I'm going to be focusing really heavily on my library books because I only have a couple of days to read them in. However, I will say that I've already finished one of them. I have some clips of me reading it that I'll show after this clip, but I just finished Fangirl Down by Tessa Bailey, literally 30 minutes ago, maybe. I actually really liked it, which is fun, exciting, surprising, because Tessa Bailey is one of those authors that I either am neutral about her books or I absolutely love them. There's nothing in between. And this was one of the ones that I thought I was going to be neutral about, but I ended up really liking it. So hooray for me. Fangirl Down is the story of a girl named Josephine. She is the biggest and also probably only fan of this golf guy named Wells. She goes to every single one of his games. She's on the sidelines cheering him on, even though he's not good. He is constantly always losing. He pretty much never wins a game, but she's dedicated to cheering for this guy. There's a few unfortunate things that happen to her, just one thing after another, really not a good time. A hurricane comes into town, just opens the door, hello, I'm here, and ends up flooding her store where she has a golf supplies rental sort of store on a golf course itself. As she's standing in the middle of this mess trying to figure out what she's going to do, how she's going to rebuild her family's store, wouldn't you know it, Wells, the golfer guy, walks in and he wants to help, and she's absolutely not. I am not taking charity from anybody. I'm going to work through this by myself. And he's like, all right, how about this? You work for me as my caddy during this next tournament that I have, and I'll give you the money for being my caddy, basically. And you can use that to rebuild the store. And she's like, okay, I'll accept it, but I'm not happy about it. It was very good. Like I said, Tessa Bailey is either an author that I'm neutral about and her writing doesn't really work, or it really works and I'm absolutely obsessed with it. And this one just so happened to be one of the ones that I really liked. I've described her before, last vlog, as being kind of similar to a wine ant, where she's kind of messy. She's probably going to do something wild that you're just going to be ugh, my goodness. And yet you can't help but love her anyway. So I always like to try all of her books, especially the recent ones, because I found that the ones that she published before weren't as good. I tend to not like them. So I've recently only been reading her more recent works, and I seem to be enjoying those fairly well, but I haven't read everything yet. The sequel to this actually is one that I was I don't think that I'm gonna pick up because I'm not really all that into the idea. It's not really a sequel so much as a companion novel. One of the main characters is the golf guy's best friend, but they don't even consider each other friends, but they're besties. And just by some of the tropes and the plot line to that of what I know, I was I don't think that I'm really going to be into that. But we did get to see a little bit of those characters as side characters in this, and I'm I really want to at least try it. I think that I'm really going to like it. So I'm excited to get this done. I wanted to finish it by end of day today, and it's currently 3:30 p.m. So I have high hopes because the next book that I need to read and finish before my library books are due on Monday, it's currently Saturday, is Dungeons and Drama by Christy Boyce. And this book is only like 290 pages, I think. So I could get this book done by the end of day today. Like, I really think that I could go through this. And I'm excited because I really liked Christy Boyce's previous book. I didn't like her debut, but I really liked her, what are they called, like sophomore novels, her second book. And I'm excited to get into this, her third. It's about this girl who her family owns a game store. I think she gets into some sort of trouble and she's forced to work at the store, where one of the guys who works there, she ends up fake dating him or something. I don't really know, but it's Christy Boyce. I'm really excited to get into it and see what this one is. So I'm gonna hop into it right now and hopefully I can finish it by the end of day today so I can start working on some of the other projects that I need to do. Okay, so yesterday I only read 90 pages of this before I needed a little bit of a break. I needed to do something else, and so I just played on my phone until I needed to record for my other channel. But to be fair, I had also read about 100 pages of the other book that I can't even remember the name of right now. So I read about 200 pages. Like, that's pretty good, but that means that I definitely need to finish this book by today. And I think I could do it. There's a possibility, but I want to tell you about what this is about since I finally have a good grasp on it. So our two main characters, Riley and Nathan. Riley and her best friend had tickets to go see Waitress, the musical, but her friend's car had broken down. Riley doesn't have a driver's license, and Riley's neither one of their parents could take them to go see the musical, but they still really wanted to see it. And so Riley stole her mom's car without a license and drove them to see the musical. So now she's in trouble. Understandably, Riley's parents feel like they can't trust her to be by herself at home anymore, so they force her to start working at her dad's game store. While she is there, two things kind of happen simultaneously. One of her co-workers is Nathan, who has a crush on this girl who is in his D&D group. Simultaneously, Riley's ex comes in, and he's not very overt about it, but he's just very smarmy. He comes in with his new girlfriend and is like, oh my god, we were just here to like check on the games since I know that you're working here now, and we need a game for her younger brother's birthday party. But then, like, I don't think that they ever actually buy a game while they're there, so I'm pretty sure it's just a cover story. Anyway, Riley's ex is, like, laughing at her, like, oh, you're not dating anybody right now? I am. And she's like, yeah, of course I'm dating somebody. I'm actually dating Nathan. And Nathan's like, absolutely not. But they decide to get into this deal because the girl that Nathan has a crush on is very jealous of how close he and Riley would be just as co-workers, like they don't like each other at all. Very possessive of him, but also simultaneously doesn't want anything to do with him. So, girl, you're just a mess. And so they come up with this deal that they'll start fake dating so that Riley doesn't look like a complete loser in front of her ex, and Nathan can get the girl. So far, I'm feeling fairly neutral about it. I'm not liking it as much as I wanted to, but it's not a bad book. I don't know. I think I will think on it more as I read. It might get better as I go, but so far it's just kind of like, okay. But I am a third of the way through right now. I have about 200-ish pages until I finish it, and so we will see whether or not I can finish this book by the end of day today. Alright, so I had so much going on yesterday that I did not have time to vlog at all. So a quick little recap. I finished my books, brought them to the library already. My other library book that I'm waiting for isn't in yet. The person who has it before me still has it, so that's okay. I'll get that another day. As for the ending of Dungeons and Drama and how I felt about it, it had a really good ending. I love a good community coming together moment. Sorry for my dogs walking around on the wood floor. I always really enjoy seeing a group of people, whether that's a town or a group of friends or whatever, coming together in order to help somebody. And so, no spoilers, but that's something similar happens in this book, and it was very cute. I liked it a lot. Not my favorite book in the whole world, though I definitely enjoyed it a lot more than I thought that I was going to at the beginning of it, so I'm happy about that. And then I had to edit 3 videos last night. 2 gaming videos, and then the vlog I edited last night. I had to take some photos for my Instagram account where I talk about books, and by the time I was done with all that, it was 2 a.m. I went to bed at 2 a.m. As for today, though, I'm unsure of what I currently want to do. I have a few crochet projects I want to work on, like Christmas presents that I need to do. I'm also currently in the beginning of a new webcomic that I just started last night briefly while I had a little bit of downtime. So I could continue to read that. It's called Asura. It's about this prince, and then there's like some sort of demon characters who are trying to take over the kingdom. I'm very close to the beginning of it, but it seems interesting so far, so I could read that. I also brought my Kindle just in case I wanted to pick a new book from that, so no idea what the plans for today are, but I'll let you know once I figure them out. So yesterday I said that I was going to try and figure out what I was going to do that day. I was starting to read a webcomic called Asura, but I never actually got back to you with what I ended up doing yesterday. So, hi, I'm just here to tell you what ended up going down. Nothing like bad. As soon as I said that, I was like, wait, that could have different connotations. I read up to what's currently available of that webcomic, Asura, and I'm liking it so far. It is the story of a prince who, his kingdom, like, they need to have an heir in order to continue on the family line. But another fun rule is that if the king and the queen, if one of them dies, let's say the queen dies in childbirth, if they don't have an heir by the time that the queen dies, that they're done. Like, the king can't get remarried to somebody else and try to get and try to get an heir that way. It's over. You're done. They give the position to somebody else. And so the main character has an older sister, and then they themselves were born as a female. The main character's father made him grow up as a boy, who's basically like, listen, you're a boy, don't tell anybody you're a guy. Made him into the prince. And it's very interesting because, like, there's such a big conversation that we could have in there on his feelings and how that affects him inside as a person. It hasn't been discussed too much, but I do know that the creator says that the main character, Asura, would use he, they pronouns and is non-binary, which is really fun and interesting, but in the story it's specifically he's the prince and he's a boy. But he does describe at one point how he doesn't feel 100% like a boy, but he's also definitely not a girl, so he doesn't know what he is. And of course, it's a story that takes place in this fantasy medieval kind of setting, so they don't really have words to describe that. They don't have any gender affirming care or anything like that. So one of those things where it's like, oh, it's interesting to see, but not really much is gonna go on for the character, like, significantly being non-binary. Anyway, there's also this group of creatures, demons, they're called something, but if I use that term, you're not going to know what that means anyway. They're basically humans, but they have horns. So, and magic. And they want to take down the human worlds. They want to use Asura as part of their plans. I don't really know what the plans are. They're just really trying to focus on him and get him on their side. His best friend, and also like a student who's going to be a knight one day, they keep like trying to kill him, the bad guys, so that he's out of the way so that they can get to Asura. But then they realize that he and Asura are in love with each other, and so they're like, okay, we could use this to our advantage, we'll just torture the guy. There's not that much on there. There's like 40 chapters or something like that, which a chapter in a web comic isn't that long. It's just like a couple pages. So really we could say there's 40 pages, very much at the very beginning, but it's interesting so far, and I'm interested in seeing where it all goes. Then after that, I decided to grab my Kindle and start reading the next book in the Ice Planet Barbarians series, which I was on, Barbarians Tease. It gets really difficult to remember the titles because beyond the first one, like every single book is Barbarians something. But this one was Barbarians Tease. And girl, you have to start walking every single time I start talking? My goodness gracious, you fiend. And I didn't like this one as much as I normally do. Every other book, I either really like it or I'm kind of neutral about it. This one was, I think, the first one that I actually did not like, which is interesting. It's also like the 17th book in the series or something like that. So crazy that you get 17 books in and all of a sudden you find one that you don't like. Really? But in general, the Ice Planet Barbarians series is about a group of human girls who were kidnapped and they were going to be sold as slaves in an intergalactic... Why did you just fall? In an intergalactic slave trade. They end up killing the people who kidnapped them. They crash land the spaceship that they're on, and they find themselves on this world that is made entirely of ice and snow. There is a group of people, I forget what like the numbers are. I think it's like 30 or 40 guys and like 2 or 3 girls in this village, and they have no ways of getting off of the planet, so they just start integrating themselves into this society. But it's a very like basic, like they have fire, but that's about it. Their tools are made of bones. They don't even like the planet doesn't have trees, so they can't even make wooden tools or anything. They've got bones, they've got snow, and they've got fire, which they light with animal poop because they don't have trees. So fun. I really like the series because every single one is one of the main characters learning how to be part of this society and learning new like trades or new things that they didn't know before, hunting or sewing, or one of them was a cook, you know, just like little things like this integrating into this very basic society. This one though, I just really did not like the main character, Brooke. This one is Brooke, and I'm gonna remember his name. Give me a second. Talshin. Brooke and Talshin's story. And I just really did not like Brooke. She was very wishy-washy in a bad way, in a very toxic way almost. She'd be like, oh, I just want to be friends, but then also she starts flirting with him, and then when he kind of like makes moves back, she's like, no, I just want to be friends with you, like I don't want anything. And that was the whole book, was them going back and forth, and he's understandably confused and a little hurt by this, and she never really learned how to be a better person. It was just kind of, she's just so wishy-washy. It was awful. Nothing wrong with him though. He was fine, but her, my goodness. One of the things too is that another ship had landed in the previous book, and so there are going to be more characters, and this is the book where those were introduced, and I got introduced to the concept of Ice Home in general. And I do know that after this book, the series splits, where some of the characters are still living on the planet which they call Not Hoth, and the other characters who like calling the planet Ice Home are in a separate series called the Ice Home series. And so I was looking up to see at what point do I start reading the Ice Home series. Should I finish the Ice Planet Barbarians series, or should I start going back and forth between Ice Home and Ice Planet Barbarians? And I found out that I skipped like 20 books. To be fair, they're not 20 books in the series, it's just more of like a universe. I skipped 20 of them. I went from book 14 in the series to book 41. So actually the numbers there don't quite make sense. That's more like 30. But so I've got to start reading all the ones that I missed, but they are different from Ice Planet Barbarians. Like one of them is about a prison. I do know there's another one about pirates, and another series in there somewhere about farmers. And so I'm not 100% sure that I'm going to enjoy these extra series, but I do want to read them in the recommended reading order. Just at least try them out in the recommended reading order. So I'm going to go back and do that. But that's all that I did yesterday. I read all day long. It was great. One thing that I want to talk about in this video though is I want to slowly end it out with a little bit of a discussion Currently, I'm feeling as though I want to do more themed vlogs. I mean, these daily, weekly, half a week vlogs are okay. You're just seeing what I do in 3 days' time. But it also feels very disorganized, and I'm craving organization in this channel. I'm still trying to figure it out, test the waters, see what all this is, and I think what would really help me right now is organized videos. So instead of here's the next 3 days in my life, it will be a video that's like here's the next 3 books that I read, here's the next crochet project that I do, here's the next little bit of game coding that I did, and talking through that, having them be themed so you can kind of pick and choose. You don't like me talking about books? Understandable, you don't have to watch the book video. You don't like me talking about crocheting? Same thing, you can skip the crochet video. It helps you be able to pick and choose the things that you enjoy me actually talking about, and it also helps me feel more organized and not all over the place. The only problem that I can think of so far is file organization in like all these little clips. Okay, this clip is a crocheting clip, so it goes in this folder, and this clip's about books, and just trying to keep up with all that. I'm not going to be 100% sure of when I should end a video and what all I should be doing in that video. If I record me getting a cup of coffee, do I put it in all 3 videos that I'm currently recording? Do I put it in just the one that I'm actively working on that day? It's weird, but I want to try it out, and I want to see, because like I said, I really think that organization is going to help me. So I wanted to let you guys know that at the end of this vlog, so that you know going into the next video and it's not just strange, what are we doing here, why is it themed? But I should probably end this vlog here, because this clip alone I've been talking for 16 minutes straight, and I know even as you're watching it you're like, oh my god. Shut up. I don't think you guys would actually say that. It's just, I've been talking for a while in this clip already. So I'm gonna go ahead and end this vlog here. I hope that you enjoyed me reading 2 books in 2 days. I mean, exciting. I didn't think until like midway through this vlog that that's what I was going to focus it on, but congratulations. Disorganized. And I hope to see you in one of the next videos, whichever theme you like the most, to see some of that. Right now I'm gonna hop into reading all the side stories in the Ice Planet Barbarians universe. That's the first one that I'm going to work on, and I hope to see you there.